Tim, it's so great to have you with us for Blue Notes. Thank you.
It's nice to be with you, Karina.
Awesome. So, Tim, you've stated that Australian businesses will fail to succeed unless they create more inclusive and diverse workplaces. Why is that?
Yeah, so I would broaden it out, and I think businesses will fail, but particularly in Australia, I think we need to drive more innovation in our businesses. When you start to look at what does it take to really drive innovation, if you don't have diversity, if you have a uniformity of thought within the people who are trying to achieve different outcomes, the chances that you're going to end up anywhere different than where you've started are quite small. By getting diversity into teams, you challenge the way teams operate, you challenge the way they think. People bring different experiences to the workplace, and that does broaden the overall perspective that that team has when tackling what might be a problem that's been looked at 10 times before, but it's nonetheless still a customer pain point. And so diversity really just adds to the richness of voices and therefore increases the range of possibilities and the breadth of thinking that a team have when they're tackling a problem.
Sure, and that actually to me sounds like an economic imperative and not just a nice to have, because you talk about creating better customer solutions, doing things better, and at the end of the day that's got to have commercial and bottom line improvements, I suppose.
Absolutely. Look, to me, innovation is a commercial imperative. And it can be an overused word today, but I think it always has been. So if I look at where the world's going, if I look at where economic growth is being driven, it is absolutely an economic imperative that we're able to be more innovative, and part of the solution to that is being more diverse.
So we've spoken a lot about the need for diversity, and that's all types of diversity of thought, as you said earlier. And then we've talked about some practical examples. Just to end, it would be wonderful if you've got any other tips for companies, large and small, of how to actually design for diversity, how to create those workplaces that we've described.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, we often talk about the upside of diversity, but the corresponding point is it brings challenges. There is no doubt that it is more challenging to manage a diverse team because you have the strength of and the richness of different thought processes going in. That actually means that all of a sudden there are lots of different voices, people who believe the priorities should be different to one another, etc. And that takes more time as a manager and frankly a more adept manager to be able to reconcile all of that and get the positive outcomes. So the first thing I would say is there is no point in having a diversity agenda if you don't have an inclusiveness agenda. If you aren't working proactively to educate all team members around how you have to act and how you have to behave to be inclusive, then diversity will fail. Because what will happen is you'll bring in some of the diverse talent, and then the system will reject it. The antibodies will go against it and will say, well, you conform and be who we are, or we're not going to engage you in the same way. And that's human nature. And it's a sad reality, but it is a reality. It doesn't have to be the case, but what it means is you have to be proactive in terms of your inclusiveness. So that would probably be my one most important piece of advice.
It makes sense.
To be proactive in terms of inclusiveness agenda, and particularly in terms of unconscious bias training.
Absolutely, because a lot of it is about that awareness, creating that awareness and then setting the tone for diversity.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Tim, for the inspiration and those wonderful tips. Really appreciate you talking with us on Blue Notes.
Great to be here and great to be with you today.
Cheers.
Thanks, Karina.
Thank you.